You are watching the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports. And before we get into it, I ask you to subscribe to the channel. It's youtube.com/Michigan TV. You guys have seen the show before, I hope. We blew past 13,000 subscribers, now at 13,500 and some change. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do the damn thing. Hit that sub button. If you forget, come back, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Very easy to remember. But for those of you who have subbed, go ahead and type me in the comments below. My friends here at Magic Spoon Cereal, the best in the game, they are typing me. They're supporting the show, so make sure you guys support them. We've got a great show coming up. We're going to talk about some new uniforms that are being rumored out there, almost to a fever pitch in the blogish sphere, the Twitter sphere. Before we dive into it, I want to ask you guys this trivia question. This has been a hit. You guys have really loved it in the comments. I want to know, I'll put this box down so we can easily see the question. Name the two players that have been named first team All-American twice under Jim Harbaugh in the past 6 seasons, 2015 through 2020. One note, when we say first team All-American, it's from the recognized official NCAA kind of consensus All-American list that they go on. AP, Football Writers Association, Coaches Association, Walter Camp, Sporting News, Sports Illustrated, Losers, USA Today, CBS Sports, and Yahoo Sports. So let me know who those two players are. I'm going to actually change it up this episode. We're going to give you the answer at the very end of the episode. So comment below if you know the two players who are named All-American. It's the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports coming up right now. And I want to give a big shout out to Magic Spoon, our presenting sponsor, the best cereal. If you're trying to eat food in the morning, get your grub on in the AM and not be just eating pure sugar. It tastes like the sugar, or it tastes like the cereal you ate as kids, but without the sugar, without the fat. It has protein, tons of protein, 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, 0 sugar, and I'll tell you what, I just eat this stuff up. So head over there, magicspoon.com/GoBlue, $5 off your first order. Today we are going to talk about this rumor around Michigan football that I feel that a lot of people are interested in. I certainly am one of those ones. And there's no real answers out there, but it seems to me that the internet sphere and recruits have said enough that I'm willing to address it and talk to you about Michigan's football's uniform lineup for this 2021 season. Before we do, I ask you this question. Go down and comment. What year did you become a Michigan football fan? The first season I remember in my mind was 1991, all right? Looked like an old guy over here. My producer, Sam, wasn't even born yet. I think he was born like in 1998 or something like that. These kids these days, I swear. But I remember 91 because I remember sitting there with the Yoder family when Desmond Howard won the Heisman Trophy. I was a young boy, but I do remember sitting in our living room and seeing that happen brought joy to the fans, or to the family. So go down below. Let me know what year. Love to hear what our audience is. Did you start becoming a fan in 2012, 13, 18, or you've been around since 1961? Let me know down in the comments. So, the rumor out there is that all these recruits posting photos on social media of their visits to Michigan and their new offers to Michigan wearing uniforms that don't look like the typical Jim Harbaugh uniforms. People like them, but there might be something to it. And so what I have been told, what I read, and I investigated, talked to the parents of a few players, recruits, is that something different is coming this year for Michigan football when it comes to uniforms, and that's what the recruits are being told when they're trying on these alternate uniforms, these flip-flop uniforms, that Michigan's going to have a couple of different ones this season. So we'll go through them here in a second, but you guys know the uniforms Michigan's wore in the past with Brady Hoke, those all blue, those crazy bumblebee ones. There are a few ones from Jordan. Obviously, that we also saw the All-Maize a few years back, 2017 opener versus Florida. But let's take a look at the uniforms that are out there, what we know. How about these all-blue uniforms? There's a picture of a recruit at the big house sitting on the brick wall outside. Michigan wore all blue one time. I believe it was like 2014 or 13 against Penn State. But it was really ugly maize numbers with like this design across the front that made it look kind of corny. These all blue uniforms are very clean, the standard Michigan Jordan uniform, but it's just blue on blue instead of obviously blue jerseys, maize pants. How about Walter Nolan? This picture of his dad. We all know the maize uniforms, the full maize they wore against Florida in 2017. I'll be honest, I'm not a jersey guy. For a lot of ways, I don't think grown men should wear jerseys, but I did like those 2017 All Mazes. It's one of the few jerseys I've ever bought in my life for a football team. I went to travel to Dallas that year, went to that game, and prior to, I went to the Nike store in Dallas and bought the Michigan Maze jersey. It's still my only Michigan football jersey I have in my possession. This is the combo I like. If you guys watched the show before, you know I don't like the Michigan all-white uniforms that Jim Harbaugh brought. Historically, Michigan white jersey, maize pants. But these look pretty great. I like these a lot. This is Will Johnson, Michigan's 5-star cornerback commit for the 2022 class, taking pictures in the big house. I'll step aside. You guys see it. His arms are up like that. Wearing blue pants, white uniforms. That is a great look for a road uniform. Drastically better than the all-white that Jim Harbaugh has instituted since he's been the coach since 2015. But how about these ones? There's a little bit of a switch. It's the inverse uniform, okay? The maize jersey with the blue pants. You can't really see him in this photo. This is one of the few quality photos I saw out there on the internet. But if you take the maize jersey that we all know, you take those blue pants that Will Johnson had in the prior photo, you'll see what we're talking about. These are awesome. I would love to see these for the second game of the year against Washington under the lights. They're not corny. They're not drastically different. The old blue hairs aren't going to freak out about these, I hope at least. They are basically the inverse of the home uniform Michigan has wore for 130 some odd years. And I will say this, folks. Yes. Yes is my answer to all this. More uniforms, but don't go to the Dave Brandon Adidas uniforms, the Brady Hoke ones, 2011, 2012, the ones that kind of made you cringe. That 2011 season, they wore the uniforms with the skinny M against Notre Dame. They wore the Bumblebee ones against Michigan State. The reverse, those were terrible. They wore those really odd ones against Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl that year. But in a lot of realities, Michigan hasn't worn many alternatives since that season. I think one year, 2013, they wore the all blues that I mentioned with the kind of weird lettering, maize striped lettering for the numbers since then. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. You saw the 4 options. We try to do our best with as many different Michigan logos here. So type down in the comments. I would want to know from you guys because I'll become the champion, all right? Michigan football, the biggest fan base in all college football probably. I'm the head of this fan base, obviously, and so I'm going to champion whichever one you guys vote for. So do you like the all blues? Do you like the all maize, which we've seen before? The all blues we've seen, but not these Jordan ones. Do you like the blue road pants with those white, with the white jerseys on the road? Or do you like the opposites we showed there at the end? Maize jersey for home, blue pants, a little bit of inverse of what Michigan's worn for the entire existence of the program's history. So type 1 for all blue, 2 for the maize, 3 for the blue road pants. And if you like the opposites, maize jersey, blue pants, go ahead and type 4 down in the comments. One more thing. All right, we got in this jersey discussion on Twitter on Thursday. Someone put out a photo of Michigan wearing Ohio State colors, Ohio State wearing Michigan colors. It was a disaster. Someone commented this photo below on a tweet I put out about it, and it was Jim Harbaugh wearing all Ohio State gear and walking out, running out of the tunnel with the Ohio State team. So give me your one-word reaction to this photo. I can't even tell you one-word reaction. My one-phrase reaction is gouge my eyes out and give me a trash can because I am about to puke. So that's the word in the uniforms. I think we're going to see him. I would bet that we'll see 2 to 3 games this year with Michigan wearing a different uniform than the maize pants and blue jersey or the all-whites on the road. So we'll see what happens with it, but keep an eye out for this. I think there's a lot to it. I think Michigan is telling recruits new jerseys coming in 2021. All right, we got more Michigan football report coming up in a second, but before we do, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Magic Spoon Cereal. Guys, this stuff is so great. They sent me boxes on boxes on boxes of this phenomenal cereal. And look, I stopped eating cereal a while back. I couldn't do it. Too many calories, too much sugar. I hit the wall at 11 o'clock, but with Magic Spoon, it is protein-packed cereal. 13 grams of protein, only 4 grams of net carbs. But how about this one, folks? 0 sugar. They've given us a great deal for you guys, the Michigan football audience, Michigan Football Report audience. $5 off when you go to magicspoon.com/GoBlue. No need for any promo code or anything like that. magicspoon.com/GoBlue. High protein cereal, 0 grams of sugar. I think I can't emphasize it enough. I used to love cereal as a kid. I've stopped eating it for the past decade or so as an adult because I'm trying to look good. I'm not trying to be an overweight guy here into my late 30s, into my 40s, whatever it is. I'm not a kid anymore, so I'm eating Magic Spoon. They sent it to me. They sent a ton of boxes. They're sponsoring the show. And I'll tell you what, breakfast is back in the Yoder household. MagicSpoon.com/GoBlue. Go get going with that. It's childlike cereal for adults. It's good for you. Eat a good breakfast every day. Be healthy. MagicSpoon.com/GoBlue. Look, guys. Okay, just keep the camera on me, Sam. I got to take a bite of this stuff because I absolutely love Magic Spoon, and you will too. MagicSpoon.com/GoBlue. Get a little cereal. Great stuff. Just got a little milk down my lip there. But look, I'm going to be eating this stuff all day. Before the show, after the show, it is my go-to breakfast. Make sure you get hooked up with Magic Spoon. They're supporting the show with a $5 off coupon for you guys. You buy the Magic Spoon cereal, you will be supporting the show as well. MagicSpoon.com/GoBlue. Now I want to get into some Michigan football questions from you guys, the audience of the show. I appreciate everyone who supports the show, asks questions, engages with us across every platform that we're in. So let's dive into 4 or 5 questions over the past few days that I've seen from you, the audience. Doug Hilton asking, with a 12-team playoff, does that mean Ohio State can even the series with Michigan even faster? And so the series is really caught up, obviously. Ohio State has dominated the past 2 decades. Michigan won in 2003. Michigan also won in 2011. But since then, you got to go back to the year 2000 when they won in Columbus. So Ohio State has taken this lead. I think at one point it was like 56-41. Michigan in 6 ties. Now the series lead sits for Michigan 58 wins to 51 for Ohio State, 6 ties over the 120, or I think it's 118 years the teams have played. There's been a gap or two in there, 2020 being one of those. So it only would, of course, Doug, and maybe this question is a tad bit of sarcasm or tongue-in-cheek for you, but of course, if Michigan and Ohio State make the playoffs, if Ohio State's got the better team, they potentially have the chance to beat Michigan twice in 1 year. But I'm a fan of the playoff going to 12 teams for a couple reasons. Well, number one is, there's been at least 2 years, 2016, 2018 under Jim Harbaugh, where Michigan should have been in the playoff, was one of the top at least 6 teams in the country. I think you can make an argument in 2016, even with 2 losses, they were maybe one of the top 4 teams. So does Michigan get a chance to prove that on the field? And with a 12-team playoff coming, what it seems like in 2023, they would get the chance to do that even if they lost to Ohio State. I think you got to think about from a college football fan perspective, if you're a major conference team with 2 losses or less, your chance to get in the playoffs is very, very good. But you guys are going to make the decision on how we feel about this on the Michigan Football Report down in the comments. What is your preferred postseason championship crowning format for college football? Is it 4-team playoff like we have now, or 12-team like they are proposing, which seems obvious we're going to go to not this season, not next season, but the 2023 season? I'm going with 12. I'm typing my 12 down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, 4 teams or 12. Next question up, coming from Big Blue. With all the allegations surrounding Robert Anderson, the doctor, and Bo Schembechler, do you think this will have a negative impact on recruiting? I don't think it will, honestly. I could not imagine a scenario, despite which seems like every 3 or 4 days another player trying to come forward and talk, or not trying to come forward, that's unfair to them, coming forward and talking about their situation with Dr. Robert Anderson in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s at Michigan. I cannot imagine a situation where it will hurt recruiting in terms of any sanctions or less scholarships, and he's not there. Dr. Robert Anderson's been dead for over a decade. Jim Harbaugh had nothing to do with this. Bo Schembechler's adopted stepson, Matt, even said the same. He's like, no, Jim Harbaugh, why would you even ask him? He has nothing to do with this. Harbaugh supported Bo Schembechler. All he says was, the Bo I know would not let this go on. And think about anyone in your life who's accused of something. If you've known him to be an honorable, good person, you'd probably say the same thing, right? You support your friends, you support your family, your coworkers, your mentors like Bo. So I don't think it will have any negative impact unless something came out that was so drastic and dramatic that we have yet to see or experience. And then, we'll see what happens there. Next, coming up from Chase Boyer, I'm still going to say Michigan is going to beat Ohio State this year. Look, if 2020 had gone better for Michigan, if they had not just completely fallen apart after really the first game of the year, they looked like national championship contenders after they went in and beat a Minnesota team on the road to start the year, a Minnesota team that in 2019 won 11 games, won a New Year's Six Bowl game, was returning a top 15 or so draft pick, I can't remember, wide receiver, and a really good quarterback. Michigan went in there and dominated them. They could have scored 60 or 70 if they really kept the pedal on the metal. But they didn't. And so if Michigan would have not gone 2-4, let's say they went 4-2 with 2 close losses last year, I would have said this is the year it can turn around because had some momentum coming off last year. Joe Milton, returning starting quarterback. No. Giles Jackson and Ronnie Bell, restarting receivers. No. Zach Charbonnet, returning running back. No. So none of the things that were going in Michigan's favor, they didn't happen, right? Those 3 guys transferred, and Michigan didn't have a momentum shifting season into 2021. But Ohio State's going to start a freshman quarterback, redshirt or true, we don't know yet. And some of their better playmakers on defense in particular have left over the last season or two. So this is the opportunity. If Michigan doesn't get it done at home this year, which they won't be favored, they'll be 10, 12, 15-point underdogs, at least in the early going. We'll see what happens in the season. It's not going to happen for a while because if they don't win this year, they're not going to win at home next year in 2022. And then after that, Ohio State's got Quinn Ewers. They've got more receivers and running backs. It's only going to get tougher for Michigan. So this is the year. Execute. Make it happen. Make the focus. You got the sign in the building. What are you doing to beat Ohio State? Let's make it a lifestyle. Let's make it happen, Jim Harbaugh, because it certainly hasn't happened in the last 5 years. How about this question from Eric Lent? All right. I'm giving up Lent for Lent, Eric. No more questions like this. Michigan football reduced to glitter bombing Ryan Day. Told you a week ago, if we got 400 likes on the video, I was going to buy a $30 glitter bomb addressed to Ryan Day. I was actually going to sign it from JT Toamaualau, the number 2 player in the 2021 class, and say, Coach Day, my commitment. He's going to open it up, get glitter bombed, and then I was going to say, haha, love Yoder. But we didn't get 400 likes, guys. So I think it was like 280 or so on the video from last Friday. So you let me down, Eric Lent, clearly an Ohio State fan. So, Eric, just delete YouTube. We don't want you here on this show anymore. But if you guys love Michigan football and you want the glitter bombs coming, we'll make this deal for you. If we get 400 likes on any video that we do let's just say before the 4th of July, 400 likes, we will send Ryan Day and Ohio State a glitter bomb. And frankly, we'll body Ryan Day with that glitter bomb letter. Next up from KJ. Replace the statue with the Harbaugh statue. And he's referring to the Bo Schembechler statue. Like, yes and no. If Jim Harbaugh, the player, maybe you can make a case for, along with Desmond Howard, with maybe Braylon Edwards, with obviously Charles Woodson and some others. But Jim Harbaugh, the coach, it takes another chapter of his time at Michigan, his Michigan legacy. It's All-American quarterback, first-round draft pick quarterback in 1983, 84, 85, 86. But then it's 2015 to present. It's good coach, kind of tapered off at the end of his career, didn't get it done. So I don't think Harbaugh is the guy. If you're going to replace the Bo statue, which I don't necessarily agree with unless something definitive comes out that he knew and could have prevented the atrocities that allegedly happened with Dr. Robert Anderson, then I think it's Charles Woodson, it's Desmond Howard, it's your 2 living Heisman Trophy winners. You pick one of them or do a combination of both with those 2 players. Look at this name, Mr. Giggles with 3 G's, the clown. Come on, James. Jimbo is checked out, referring to Jim Harbaugh. He couldn't beat Urban, and now Michigan has burnt out, broken coach who has given up. I think there's some validity to this. I really do. I'm not going to say that Mr. Giggles the Clown is the authority on Jim Harbaugh or Michigan football, but this is a good point. And the 2016 game, I think, broke Jim Harbaugh's spirits because he had turned the program around so strongly. And I'll always, I think I said last season when things started going bad in post-game shows, I said, thank you, Jim Harbaugh. You saved this program from some bad coaching decisions. You turned them around. You made them competitive. You got them back as a top 10, a top 15 program. But it hasn't worked out. 2016 may have broken his demeanor. 2018, he had that team rolling. Maybe the best defense we've seen for a 6, 7, 8 game stretch in college football over the last 10 years. But they went into Columbus and got absolutely humiliated. And nothing, and I mean nothing, has gone right for this program since that happened. So there's some validity to Mr. Giggles the Clown's analysis with that one. But that's all the questions we have today for you on the Michigan Football Report. Trivia question time. It's trivia answer time. The question I put out there was, who were the 2 guys who were 2-time first-team All-Americans for Jim Harbaugh? It is Jordan Lewis and Jake Butt, 2 Brady Hoke commits or recruits who both were, neither one of them consensus or unanimous, but both named first-team All-American by multiple of those outlets I mentioned at the top of the show that are the officially recognized All-American teams by college football. Lewis and Jake Butt, cornerback, tight end, made those, All-American teams in 2015 and 2016. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh had Mo Hurst in 2017. They had Devin Bush in 2018 and a couple others in there. But those are the two that have been two-time first-team All-Americans by multiple outlets. We're back in a day or two with another Michigan football report.